This Varang drawing taught me 5 key lessons about figure drawing that reminded me about some essential steps on how to draw the human form, or an alien in this case. And I've got a bonus tip at the end to let you know why doing drawings like this is so important together with your usual practice. Tip number 1: start loose, then add to it step by step. When I'm starting a new drawing, any drawing, I just start very loose and sketchy. I'm not too concerned about getting everything right from the get-go. I just get everything in the ballpark, and I don't even care about finding the exact line yet. This stage is really just to find the overall gesture and take all the measurements, the proportions, decide how big or how small I want the drawing to be. To do that, I don't commit to lines yet, and I just allow myself to be lost for a while. This in return allows me to have an initial guide and start molding the surface I'm working on. I start to get comfortable with it. At this stage, I'm thinking like a sculptor basically. I'm blocking out the whole figure from a mass of marble. When I establish this foundation, I can start to refine it in several passes. It's like using the layers in a drawing program. You never do everything on just one layer. You start with a low sketch on layer 1, layer 2 is more refined, layer 3 is the line art, and then color, shading, rendering, and so on. Like in this case, I lightly erase the low sketch I started with a kneaded eraser. It's like lowering down the opacity in a drawing program. And then I refined it with a black polychromos, finding the exact line I wanted to keep once I was happy with it for the next stages. Another tip I have here is don't try to get everything done in just one long session. I broke up this drawing in multiple sessions, just to have the opportunity to look at it with fresh eyes and more easily spot mistakes, after stepping away from it for a few hours. I think this layered approach takes away a lot of the pressure, because I can really go step by step and have more control in my opinion. The next tip is really the key when you're using reference. Don't be a slave of your reference, but push it. Like this reference, for example, that I'm using right now, comes from the trailer itself, but I kind of changed it a little bit. I added more contrast between the line of the shoulders and the line of the hips by pushing their angles. I moved a bit their arm to make it fit in the page, and I kind of tweaked a bit the proportions overall. So bottom line is, don't feel chained to your reference. Use it by just what it is, a reference, a starting point, a conversation starter. This will make you enjoy your process even more. I remember when I used to follow the reference to the most minute detail, and I ended up getting more likeness for sure, but I had a lot less fun in the process. I constantly had to redraw the same part over and over, even if it looked fine, just because it wasn't 100% identical to the original. It's also a fact that with the knowledge of gesture, body structure, and a bit of anatomy, I have a lot more freedom to change things how I want, and still make them believable. But there is one tip that will make all this even easier without even knowing any anatomy: using the line of action. I really cannot stress enough the importance of the line of action, even when you're using a reference. The line of action is like a cheat code to be able to read your reference easier. All you need to see is just one line to know what a body is doing. And not only that, because I'm able to tweak and push my reference how I want, all by thinking about this one simple line. Here, for example, I pushed her S-shaped line of action, making the twist between the upper and the lower torso even stronger. And this gave me a guide to place the main masses of the body and give the upper torso and the hips the right orientation. Which is opposite in this case, to give more contrast. And I don't always draw the line of action explicitly. Sometimes I just think about it, but I always keep it in mind. But once I found the line of action, there is another essential step: simplifying the whole body into shapes. In particular, the three main masses of the body. When I'm looking at a reference, something that really helps me to decode all the anatomy is to think about the whole body not in terms of muscles, but in terms of shapes. By simplifying the whole body in these terms, I can make sense of it more easily and move individual parts of it with more freedom. Because I'm not thinking about the bicep or the deltoids or anything like that. I'm just breaking everything down into cubes, cylinders and spheres. Simple shapes. In particular, I always start from the big picture, thinking about the three main masses of the body. The three masses that work like an anchor for the rest of the figure. These are the head, the ribcage, and the hips. These are three solid pieces of bone that dictate the proportion of the rest of the body. By just establishing these, you can determine the body type of any figure, even if it's an alien with super long proportions, like in this case. In particular, I always like to start from the torso, just because it's the biggest mass of the body, and it will determine the balance and the scale of all the other parts. Usually, not always. But if you want to take all this one step further, the next tip is crucial. I am talking about the contrapposto and the angles of the body. When I'm building a figure, I always try to think about it not only in terms of simple shapes or volumes, but also lines. Not only the line of action, but there are another couple of lines that I really like to consider. These are the line of the shoulders and the line of the hips. These allow me to define the tilt of the torso and the hips better, and by pushing their angles I can make even the most boring standing pose more interesting and appealing. Here, for example, I push the contrast between the angle of the shoulders and the angle of the hips, creating more contrapposto. The contrapposto is a principle used a lot by Michelangelo, for example, that creates contrast between the two sides of the torso. One side will be stretching and the other will be pinching. This will give you a lot more movement inside of the figure, and it will also give you that S line of action and rhythm. I wanna leave you with one last tip that this drawing taught me: the importance of personal projects. Between your practice session of gestures or figure drawing, working on something like this can really save you from burnout. It will allow you to do something different, to let you apply what you learned, and to bring a drawing to the end, finally, having something to show, and not the usual weird gestures. And it is also a great chance to try out new supplies or tools that you bought and that were just sitting in the drawer. This drawing of Varang from Avatar 3, for example, finally pushed me to pick up that huge set of Faber-Castell polychromos that my parents gifted me a few years ago, and I'm really glad for that.